Hey, Facebook Live, we're a little later than we planned on. We are the Titans of the Fantastic.
I just want to say I am totally safe from Thanos.
Me too.
I'm not sure I'm feeling so good, guys.
Disappears on camera.
If I disappear, people might know that I did not survive Thanos.
You do have Captain America shield.
I do have Captain America shield, so I am one of the heroes. So, yeah.
Buffy made it.
Buffy made it. That's good. Well, let's go around. So people that don't know who we are, let's tell them who we are. We'll start over here with Keith.
I am Keith. I am your resident geek with way too much knowledge of things that you really don't care about. But I offer up my opinion anyway.
Keith has a lot of cool opinions.
Yeah, he does have a lot of knowledge. I'm Brittney. I co-own American Wasteland Entertainment in Springfield. And right now, what are we working on? We have Ozark Mountain Web Fest coming up in September. So we're working on that. You should like our page and enter if you have web series, short film, pilots, any of that stuff, enter it in. That'd be awesome. We're working on a documentary right now called The Flying Greek. And season 2 of Strange Happenings is almost completely done in the writing process. So
that's awesome. We need to get Jason in to talk on our show with us about the Flying Creek.
He's doing Mystery Hour right now. I think
that's fantastic.
Their final episode for this season.
Yeah, yeah.
Or whatever.
All right, very good. Love some Mystery Hour. Shout out to Mystery Hour out there. I'm still happy to be able to come on and be your substitute. Anytime on Mystery Hour. So happy to. I will take on that role. I will do it for free.
If you want me to be a guest, I'll be a guest on the show.
Brittney would be a great guest.
If you wanted.
Fantastic.
If you wanted.
All right, and I'm Larry Lytle, geekcool.com. Cool with a K is my website. So I like to talk geek stuff, and the three of us are the Titans of the Fantastic. Tonight, unfortunately, we don't have a guest for you guys like we normally do, but we've got a lot to talk about in a short period of time. So we are going to jump right into the news. Well, of course, the big news is this big blockbuster movie out from Marvel.
Marvel Studios.
Marvel Studios, yeah, not Faux Studios trying to be Marvel, but Marvel Studios.
Fox. Sorry. Sorry.
Have you seen the thing with Mickey Mouse? And he's got the gauntlet on, and he's put the stones in, and it's like Marvel.
Oh yeah, I've seen
and
that.
And it's like one of them's Fox.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, with Fox.
Yeah, he's trying to. The mouse is trying to collect all of them.
And they may rule with complete power when you're done.
Yeah,
yes.
That's what's going to happen.
Yes.
It's kind of scary. The mouse is
Kinda.
a little scary.
As a fanboy, just keep putting out good stuff. I'll keep watching. So. I mean, for Brittney is in the field. I get what she's wearing. I'm just like, ooh, yeah, that's Brittney. Let's do that again.
It's kind of scary to have to rule them all. I mean, that's I feel like what Infinity War was actually about.
Yeah.
Disney saying, this is what we're doing to you guys, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah.
We are Thanos.
So should they have, since there's like one gauntlet to rule them all, should they have taken one of the stones and thrown it into the pit of the fire to destroy it? Or?
I don't even think that would have mattered.
No, okay, no.
With the time gem, you just would have gone back before you thrown it in.
No, that's
It's like literally if he didn't have that gem.
Yeah.
That's the game
that
changer.
stone. That's the good one.
Spoilers for those that haven't seen it.
Yeah, should we just say spoilers?
At this point where we are sitting at $400 million domestic and $1 billion worldwide, if you haven't seen it and you're watching this, you better expect there's going to be spoilers. So yes, there's going to be lots of spoilers going forward. So pause right now, go see the movie, then come back and watch, because you're going to be spoiled.
It's a long movie too. So
it is a long movie.
You may not want to go right now. It's later in the evening. Just throw that out
Depends
there.
on if you're night owl or not. So
Yeah, just throw that out there.
so yeah, well, before we, okay, we'll jump into that. We'll come back, because I was going to talk about May the 4th and Pre-Comic Book Day.
Let's go ahead.
We'll do those, and then we'll come back and talk Avengers a little bit. So May the 4th was yesterday. Did everyone have a good Star Wars day?
I did. What? I again, being a Star Wars fan, I'm just happy being a first generation Star Wars fan,
Yes.
I'm just happy that we actually kind of sort of get a day.
Yeah.
Because, you know, for anybody born, look, anybody that's about between the ages of 9 and 20, this is normal for you. All of this is normal. And I got to say, it's not. You know, those of us that remember the dark times.
Yes.
You know, the dark times. You know, anybody that definitely grew up with a lot of the movies of the 1970s, it can get bad. So enjoy all of this. So I enjoy having a day on Star Wars.
Science fiction prior to Star Wars was pretty sketchy as far as plot and special effects and everything else. I mean, there were some good things out there.
Yes.
But overall, when you're doing a sci-fi movie, Star Wars really kind of changed that. That really upped the game on what you needed to bring plot-wise, what you needed to bring special effects-wise for science fiction movies.
Well, it definitely was an improvement over, say, I don't know, Planet of the Apes.
Right.
Which had it not been for the complete disastrous failure of that franchise, basically, George Lucas wouldn't have made all that money.
Right.
Because that's really where he got all the merchandising money. Fox gave it up because they lost their shirts and all the merchandising for Planet of the Apes. So George took that. And,
right.
Isn't that crazy? It's like a classic. Like,
well, that's the first movie, but the entire series of films, the entire series. So by 19,
I was like, well, that's kind of like a classic movie.
by the early
But you mean
1970s,
you mean the whole front, like the whole shebang, the whole kit and caboodle.
the final 2 to 3 movies, they had produced all this merchandise and nobody was buying it.
Right.
And so Fox was losing their shirts. So when George was negotiating his movie called The Star Wars, that's how he ended up with the merchandising rights completely.
Right.
So
took less money. So
and you Planet of the Apes.
I wish I had merchandising rights.
Merchandising. The merchandising. Well, and interestingly, because you said, we have a day, but also May 25th is a big day for Star Wars fans because that is the anniversary date of the release of the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
41 years.
41 years. We've got Geek Pride Day, which comes out in partial celebration of Star Wars that day. So we actually get 2 days to celebrate Star Wars in May. And this year, on the 41st anniversary, is the day the Solo movie comes out.
Yes.
So it's interesting, you've got the symmetry where we're going back to that date being an important date.
Mm-hmm.
If you're anticipating Solo or not, it's still an interesting thing with the anniversary coming up. So
Probably should not be anticipating it. I do not want to see that movie.
You really don't.
Brittney is out on the Solo movie.
I do not.
Let me guess, you did not read any of the Han Solo adventure books.
I don't. I think there's a lot of characters, and this is another Disney thing that I have issues with, is that they are literally, I feel like what they're doing is they're just wringing it dry.
Really?
Because to me it's like, but you guys know I didn't like Rogue One. I feel like it was a story that didn't need to be told.
Mm-hmm.
Han Solo story doesn't need to be told. I feel like those characters, their problem with a lot of things today is there's no questions about anything. We're gonna give you everything on a silver platter and we're gonna spoon feed you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what that Han Solo movie felt like, because it's like everything that made Han Solo this cool, like mavericky rogue type of character, they're just gonna blow it all out of the water and they're gonna tell you step by step how everything happened, and it's all of the mystery of that character is gonna be gone. Mm-hmm. And so to me, it feels like they're just kind of ruining some of these characters. I like the cast. I like everybody that's in it. They're all amazing actors. It's like I want to like it because I like these actors.
Right.
But the fact that it's a movie that doesn't even need to happen, and they're only doing it because it's a Star Wars movie and they know they can make money. And that's what it feels like to me. It's not a story that they feel needs to be told. It's a story they can tell to put butts in the seat. Mm-hmm. So I'm not looking forward to it.
Well, and it's really the opposite of how it originally was, because the original trilogy happened, and first, the original movie happened, we had no idea if there was going to be a sequel. And then you get Empire, and then you, after Empire, wait 3 freaking years for the sequel. But you knew there was going to be a sequel, right. But then there was that dead time. And there wasn't a whole lot of character stuff. The Han Solo books were one of the few things that actually kind of gave you some history of some characters back in the day. But it still was one of those things where Star Wars fans felt like we were starving to death for interesting stories in this great universe that was created.
But they're not exploring that great universe at all.
Yeah,
right. You know what I mean? And like that's a big issue that they're having is we've discussed. I've told you my theory of what they should have done with the Last Jedi. What they should have done with it. Which again, nobody cares what I think. Obviously, because I don't make billions of dollars.
No.
But you know, we've discussed it with you that I felt like spoilers. You should have seen it already. But you know, I was telling you that like the best thing they could have done is when Kylo gives his hand to Rey and is like, "Hey, let's start a new world order." What the coolest thing on planet Earth for them to have done is have Rey take his hand, because you just have that epic fight scene, take his hand and say, "You're right, let's start over." In the movie there, to where you're like, holy crap, Rey just went bad. Next movie comes up, they didn't. So instead of killing all those people that Kylo wanted to kill, you start a new world order and you could expound on these characters and this other new world they're creating, so the people you'd be fighting would still be the same people, but they would be fighting against good and evil coming together, which is why it's never, like, they've never succeeded, is because you can't have light without dark. They tell you that. You can't have one side without the other. So why would you not put Kylo and Rey together and have them create a new world? And you would have a new universe, like new names for people that wouldn't be the rebels anymore. You'd have a new name. So it's like they have all these opportunities to play in this giant universe and create new things, and they're not doing it. Instead, they're doing stuff like, we're going to give you the exact same thing over and over again. It's always good versus evil. It's always going to be this. It's always going to be the light side versus the dark side. And it's like, it's just a missed opportunity, I think. I think it was a huge missed opportunity to just end the movie right there. Still have a question of, did Rey go bad? Who's Rey's parents? Because I don't buy that crap. That her parents were nobody.
Well,
sure they weren't.
Sure
they are nobody. Sure.
I'm sure a Sith would never lie about knowing who our parents were. Hold it. Man.
But that's my issue. That's my issue with a lot of the Star Wars stuff now, is because I feel like it's a lot of missed opportunities to, I don't know. I think it's missed opportunities, and I don't think The Last Jedi was a well structured and written movie. I don't think.
I actually liked it because it took me on a ride that I wasn't expecting. And I'll be honest with that. That's anytime a movie does things out of my thought level, I'm always like, oh, that's interesting, and I enjoyed it. So people I know hated what happened with Luke, people and how Luke's character was. I actually could see that happen. I'm like, yeah, because I look at myself 20 years ago and how idealistic I was on things and how I'm less so now. And then imagining if I took my sister's son and basically my actions converted him to becoming an agent of evil. Maybe I would do that way. I don't know. I just know that I found it interesting.
To me, again, they Disneyed it up. There's a bunch of very weird humor moments that make no sense, that it was just in there for the kids, and it was like the timing.
Like humor.
No, I love humor. I love humor. The Guardians movie, I love the Guardians movies. I love those. I love Volume 1 and 2. They're amazing. But again, the humor hits in those movies.
Right.
They hit and it's right. In Force Awakens, the humor hit better in those movies because you had specific characters set up that did that were that comedy relief type character.
Right.
But in The Last Jedi, the humor didn't hit. They were trying to force funny, humorous moments, and it didn't work. Like him drinking out of the bottle, that bottle thing, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't like that weird stuff. And like
I didn't think that was supposed to be
only
funny. I just thought that was supposed to be
it
kind of a sad life of.
It did not hit well. He even brings that up. But anyways, we digress.
We do.
We digress.
Anyway,
but that's.
So happy, Avengers the 5th today. So, anyway, but yeah, Star Wars Day. My son, not my son. My son's big into Star Wars. Last night, my daughter's high school band had their end of the year award ceremony thing. Oh. And the theme was, May the 4th be with you.
That's
so
awesome.
The interesting thing is we've taken Star Wars, which was, the fandom of that was this pretty narrow group of people at one point in the 70s and 80s, and have made it to where it's very accepted now, to a point where we're having high schools just celebrating Star Wars, which I find fascinating. So.
Night asked, will Ray finally find a husband?
Well, does that matter? Does she need a husband? Because I don't.
They Disneyed it up, didn't they? She will. She'll get a husband.
I don't think she needs a husband.
She doesn't need one. She'll get one.
There are rumors that Mara Jade may show up.
Hopefully, it's gonna be Kylo.
I'm
shipping Kylo and Ray pretty hard. Because it's good and evil. It's.
They can have Gray Jedi. All right. So.
Yeah. I mean, they'll have twins, I'm sure.
Oh,
It'll be the exact same thing. Or triplets.
Well, but they didn't do the twins well. All right, so Free Comic Book Day was today, and I know Brittney's crazy work schedule didn't want her to go. So,
I would have went to the comic cave.
Right.
I would have went to see Josh. I shared about a bunch of stuff. I shared it and stuff, but I didn't get to go.
Just check them out at comiccave.com.
And I was at the Comic Cave. I did not get there until like 10:15, but I was there at 10:15, stood in line outside for about 20 minutes to get in, stood in line inside for about an hour before making around, we grabbed the free comics. They were further in the back, grabbed those and came around and got some stuff. Colin Bunn was there along with Brian Hurt, was that his name? I know I've read some of his stuff before. He's a good artist. But they were there signing stuff, got some signatures. It was really cool. I also went out to a couple other places to get some free comics, and there were some artists and stuff there that I was looking forward to hanging out with. So I hit 3 different shops today.
Wow,
and,
look at you.
Yeah. But it was good. It was a very good time. People were enjoying themselves. And again, it's really fun to watch and see that geekdom has come to this point to where we're standing outside in lines on Free Comic Book Day. People are looking at us wondering, what's the line for? Come on, we get free comics.
Yeah, I mean, it's all part of the whole geek mainstream.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing. Like I said, I remember the dark times.
Yeah, me too. I remember the wedgies.
Yeah, well, I didn't get those, but.
Well, you're a little bigger than me.
Hey, it was dark times. I got made fun of for liking Buffy.
Yeah, I can see that. No.
And for Smallville and stuff like that, because it was just a comic book show.
Yeah.
I got made fun of for stuff like that all the time.
Yeah. Well,
so in the 2000s and 90s were also dark days.
Oh, very dark days. So I get that completely. So, and I had a friend of mine from high school. It was a girl that I had a crush on from like 4th grade to like my sophomore year. I just thought she was gorgeous, and she was really nice to me most of the time. Then she found out I had a crush on her, and then she was trying to get me to go away because she had a senior boyfriend and all that. But anyway, she come to find out, she posted on my Facebook wall a while back that she wished that in those times it would have been more acceptable to be in comics for a girl, because she was into it just like I was all the way from kindergarten up, because we were in kindergarten together and everything else. And I'm like, so when I was out there with my towel and my safety pin pretending like I was Captain Marvel Shazam running around, you should have been out there with me. It's sad that you weren't allowed to, but
wow.
Yeah, so those were what the times were. So.
Things have changed.
Things have. So anyway, moving on.
I think we're about ready to tackle the movie.
The movie, all right. So
spoilers.
So, yep, spoiler alert, spoilers.
If you haven't seen it, I mean.
Now is the time to pause and come back, so. All right, so as we talked about, it's brought in a buttload of money just over a week. It's at $1 billion
I think
worldwide.
faster than any other film in history.
Faster than the other film. And we're still talking China and Russia has not seen it yet.
So we may be looking at a
The
film
first, 2 billion mark, I wonder.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you've had films already make 2 billion, but this could be a film that could conceivably at least give James Cameron a little bit of a heart attack.
Yeah.
Because
So,
his 2 films have made 2 billion each. So you have the top
and
film.
he's been dissing comic book movies a lot, so it would be even better if it did. It would be so glorious.
I love this movie.
If Infinity War and then when Endgame comes out, if both of them did it and just knocked both of his movies out of the way. That's my dream. That's what I'm hoping for.
You brought this on yourself, James.
Yeah, because he has been bashing comic book movies so bad.
I love your movies, James, but
Yeah, I love you, dude.
lay off the comic book movies because
Yeah, you never.
Once you make a movie,
You don't want to.
stop
You don't want
bashing
to.
everybody.
Yeah, you don't want to end up like Jodie Foster.
Oh.
Just go make a movie. He hasn't made a
Love
movie.
you, Jodie.
He hasn't made a
Lay off
movie.
making fun of comic book films.
Yeah, he hasn't made a movie in forever.
That's true.
So it's just make a movie then.
So on IMDb, it's sitting at a 9.0 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
On Rotten Tomatoes, critics are good at 84%. The audience, 92%. But what do we think about this movie, guys?
So you're wanting a number?
Well, just tell me what your thoughts are.
Do you want a number?
You can give me a number, that's fine.
Yeah. You know what? I must say that Infinity War proves that if you have patience and you are meticulous, but more importantly, you have the backing
Yeah.
of the entire studio.
Yeah.
And everybody's on the same page. Looking at you, Fox and Warner Brothers. You can accomplish some amazing things. There is no reason why Fox could not have done this.
Yeah.
There is no reason why Sony could have not been more consistent in doing this.
Right.
And no reason why even Warner Brothers couldn't get it, all three of those studios could not get it together
Right.
and actually start doing something like this. So it really, I don't even, we've gone past just saying congratulations to Marvel. This has become a hack.
Yeah. Right.
And the fact that they are just creating just an incredible amount of story. Now, I do have some theories about what's next, and this is one of the things that I really like about what they're doing now at Marvel Studios and what Kevin Feige and really everybody that works for him are doing in planning out these movies. Everybody's looking forward to the next movie.
Right.
I'm looking at what the movie before the next Avengers movie is going to do to how we look at Avengers 4 and how we're going to look at not quite phase 4, but what really all of that is going to be from there on in.
Right.
I will say this, I think Captain Marvel is going to cause a lot of us to go back and rewatch all the Marvel films again to figure out, well, I have a theory about the Skrulls.
Right.
And
Right.
I believe that there is somebody in this movie who is not who they say they are. And they haven't been for a little while. Somebody is not who you think they are.
Because you're thinking Skrull War coming up then.
Yeah, I think that's what really having
Yeah.
Captain Marvel is going to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to introduce the Skrulls and officially introduce the
Kree.
The Kree.
And if you're watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.,
They've already seen the Kree. So really, we're waiting for the Skrulls.
Right, right.
And the Skrulls are a nasty bit of
Yes,
business.
they are.
But ultimately, they are shape changers, and they are very convincing.
And they take on the
So,
memories.
They take on the memories.
Unless they're convinced that's who they are.
Yeah.
Shape changers are cheaters.
There's somebody who you were cheering on in Infinity War that might not be who you think they are.
Give me Nick Fury.
Could be Nick. Possibly.
But everybody should be suspect. Everybody. Now, I have a theory as to who it could be, and those who I've shared it with have ultimately went, oh my gosh, it could be, oh my gosh. And they're now looking at this one character very differently. It's not Nick Fury, although it could be, but it's not Nick.
Well, you could have
Cap. I
multiple.
don't want it to be Cap. Just leave him alone. Just leave him alone.
I don't think Cap has acted as Cap would. But, of course, if you steal somebody's memories and don't know you're really a Skrull, then maybe you would act that way. So, interesting. So you enjoyed the movie, I take it. Now, do you have any issues with it? Anything, Larry? Because Brittney and I were talking beforehand, and there are issues.
I have one big issue with this film, but it really is minor. If you remember the post-credit scene,
Yes.
okay?
Yep.
And it's Nick and Maria Hill.
Great.
And they're driving down the road, and Maria gets a signal on her phone, aliens, a spaceship, and they detected spaceships over Wakanda,
Right.
okay? So from the moment she ends the sentence, that's when the vehicle in front of them does its little thing, right?
Right.
Either they have the worst sensors in the world,
That could be possible. That could be possible.
or
I love that that's your issue, because I didn't
Because
even think about it.
but the
Because
dark
that's
AT&T
not even-
signal.
the amount of
that's not
timing
my
that it
issue.
went from, we have something over Wakanda to
Right.
the whole movie. Look, I'm thinking the whole thing in Wakanda did not take seconds. I'm pretty sure that at least took about an hour,
Right.
maybe two, to have that entire
Right.
fight.
That's true.
I like
So-
it that that's true.
It's a time thing.
And maybe they were in a meeting. The
Right.
phone was on. Oh, whoa.
Okay, but the thing is, you've already
Came
seen
out an
it.
hour ago.
Yeah, but within the context of the film, we're talking maybe it's been at least 24 to 48 hours since what happened in New York and the disappearance of Tony Stark.
Maybe, do we know the time zone difference? Maybe Wakanda and New York
It
has the
doesn't
time
happen
zone
that quick,
difference.
though.
Maybe
It
the time
does not
zone.
happen. Even with a time zone difference,
You know,
an hour is still an hour no
with
matter
the-
where you go.
With all the stuff, all the technology of Wakanda, and being able to cloak all the stuff they have, maybe they cloaked the ships coming down. Maybe when they landed, they were still
He's
cloaked.
just like, no. He's like, no,
But that's a fair
mistake.
point, Keith. No, the whole idea that it happened like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, they should have, flashed back to him still driving or something later.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, back at Nick Fury.
Or maybe it was just a mistake because Marvel didn't know what to put at the end.
It could be. Even Marvel makes
I'm just-
mistakes.
I mean, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro came to you guys, and he didn't. You rejected him. You rejected him. Guys, you could have had the Incredible Hulk on television with Guillermo del Toro producing the whole thing and making it with everybody that worked on the Hellboy movies with him, and you said no.
He should be doing like Swamp Thing and stuff.
He didn't have to. James Wan's doing that, and that's fine. And DC, you also rejected him. So both of you guys.
Shame on you.
Bad. Because now he's got an Oscar and he's too expensive.
I wish I had an Oscar.
I know, right?
You'll get
That'd be
yours.
nice.
You'll get
That'd
yours.
be nice.
Well, Brittney, we were talking a little before the show about some of your issues with it. Do you want to? Tell people what you thought about the movie, and then tell them what you did not like. Also.
Everybody expects me to say I didn't like it.
And that's not true. Right.
I did like it. I do like Marvel. I have a lot of issues with a lot of things that Marvel does, but I like Marvel. This one's probably up there in like my third or fourth favorite. The Guardians and Winter Soldier are still, to me, some of the best things they've done because they feel different. But overall, I really liked it. I think it had a lot of really nice moments. I liked how the groups were split. I thought they did a good job with that. Like, I thought it was kind of an interesting bunch.
You mean Team Wise Ass versus?
Yeah, like Team Dark and Fruity versus Wise Ass. Is kind of what they did. Some things I didn't like.
And I'm gonna have to plug this in real quick. So
Okay. Things I didn't like. I don't like that they made Banner the dumb slapstick comedy guy, because that's not who he is. I like, my brother actually brought this up, and he was saying he was like, I think Thanos is gonna beat the crap out of him, and then Hulk is gonna be scared and not want to come out because he's scared. And I was like, that's interesting, and that's what happens. So I thought that was really neat. So I like it that we get more Banner, but they made him this, they completely changed his character. You know what I mean? And to me, I feel like it was another missed opportunity for them as writers, because it's like, if you go back to the Avengers movie and you watch how Tony and Banner talk together, it's so cool because they're just totally talking over everybody's head. And it's like, so now you have like Banner and Doctor Strange and Tony and Parker all together in these scenes, and it's like, why are they not just blowing people's mind with their wit and how smart they are? And instead Disney's like, oh gosh, we gotta have someone be like the slapstick comedy guy. What are we gonna do? And it's like, you did it to Banner. Why would you do it to Bruce Banner? Like, why would you make him this dumb guy? Because he's not. He's highly intelligent.
Right.
It's like, I don't know. So I mean, I had issues with that. I had a problem with that. I don't think it's as brave as what everybody keeps saying. Everyone keeps saying that they think it's this brave movie that Marvel's done. I mean, not all these people are really dead, guys.
Well, I have a theory about that too.
They're not all really dead. I mean, there's some of them that are gone. I mean, Loki, for goodness sake, better be gone. I mean, he better be out of the picture. Idris Elba, he's done.
Yeah.
Vision.
So basically, everybody spoiler still. Everybody pre-snap that died is dead.
Yeah, I think.
And everybody after the snap
sad.
is just. I don't consider them dead. I think they were just wiped from existence.
Right.
Don't get me wrong, I think they're dead in Infinity War. I think they're dead now. I think they're dead right now. I don't think they're gonna stay dead.
Right.
Like, I guess I should preface it. Like, I don't think they're gonna stay dead. Pre-snap, I do agree. I think they're gonna be dead. Like Vision, get him out of here, he's gone. Loki, get him out of here, he's gone. Gamora is the one I'm kind of bummed about. I think she's done too. I don't think don't think so? I think she's done.
I think that gives the weightiness of it, is that Gamora's death.
I think she's gonna be done.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think
it's
pre-snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's any way to
Pre-snap
reverse the sacrifice needed to get the Soul Stone.
Except.
There's a new theory about the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
I didn't read
In the comics,
She goes into the Soul Stone.
there are two people that have escaped the Soul Stone, and guess who one of them is?
Gamora and Warlock.
That's right.
Warlock. So yeah.
Look, after the snap,
I wonder if someone's gonna have to go into the stone to take her place. Is that a thing?
that might be another thing.
No, it is, because that's how Warlock got them out. Was he took a different version from a different reality of himself and put there.
So that's what I'm wondering.
Like the old man that was about to die version.
I'm wondering who's going in. I'm wondering who's going in
It's Land of the Lost.
to get her out.
Well, my thing on that is, you remember what happened to Thanos after the snap?
Yeah.
Do you remember where he went immediately?
The Soul Stone, right? He's
Right.
like in the stone. He's
He's
talking to baby. He's talking to
That's right.
tiny Gamora.
Yes.
It's like, sorry, Zoe. He doesn't like you as much now that you're older. Young you, you're just.
She's a lot more sassy and doesn't actually obey him
You're just
very
trying
much.
to kill him.
Tries to kill him with a sword.
And that's what we were talking earlier, like and that's what kind of frustrates me, is that a lot of people are saying, just like how devastating it is that we see all these characters die. And I was telling him, I said, but to me, I said, two of the most like devastating moments and two of the most powerful moments. To me, that was just like, okay, these two moments just kind of made the film. Like to me, these were the moments that gave it weight. And the first one was when we see, and they're two of my favorite moments of the movie, just because I love the weight that it was given to the film and to like all the other films. I feel like it weighted everything down the way it needed to be. But when shout out Red Skull, that was awesome.
Yes.
But when he's telling him, when Red Skull's telling Thanos like what you're gonna have to do, and Gamora's just like, you asked the universe a question and it like shut the door, you're done, like this isn't gonna happen, and he's crying and I knew it was he was crying because he did love her, but like that fact, that whole thing of this whole entire time, Gamora's like, he doesn't love me, Nebula, he doesn't love you, he doesn't love me, he's an evil guy, like it doesn't matter why he did this to you because he doesn't love anything. So it's what we've been told this whole entire time. And so that scene where he turns and grabs her and she looks like a little kid because he's so big, she looks like that little kid being drug off like and fighting against him. And like that moment, like you see him crying and you see her like that realization of like, oh my God, he actually did love me. Like it almost was worse for her that he did love her versus not loving her, which was an amazing, like that whole scene was so amazing. And like seeing her looking like a little kid, like being pulled and like she's like slapping at her dad, you know what I mean? Like that whole moment, I was just like, whoa, this is great. Like this is awesome. And then flip side, when you get to Scarlet Witch and Vision, and you have Scarlet Witch go through the agony of killing the guy she loves, because like we were talking, she's still like 20s, you know what I mean? She's still fairly new. Like literally, her being in the Avengers has just ruined her life. Like everything bad has happened to her because of these people. Yeah. And so she has to go through that agony of killing Vision, the guy she loves, kills him just to watch him be brought back to be killed again.
Yeah, they went all Buffy on her.
Yeah, and it's like that. But again, it was like that weight, because it's like sometimes I have problems because I think Disney, what they've done with Marvel is great to an extent, but sometimes I feel like they just take those moments away from the characters and from the actors allowing them to do this stuff because it's going to scare the kids, or the kids are going to be freaked out, and the kids are going to be worried. But it's like, this happens. Like, bad things do happen. And in these movies, I feel like if you show them in the right way, you know what I mean? You can talk to your kids. You can explain things to kids. That's what we were talking about earlier. Like, you can explain it to them to where they understand, like, okay, this is life. Like, this happens sometimes, even though you love things. Sometimes things don't go your way. And again, Guardians has done that twice now, and it's beautiful. But like those two moments to me are some of the best moments of that movie, because you're just like, wow, like that would be horrible. Like she sacrificed him. You know what I mean? She did the thing that was needed of her for the greater good of the universe. And then he just brings him right back and kills him again in front of her. So she literally watches him die twice.
Right.
And knows that like now it's over. Like everything's over, essentially, to them, because they don't know that Doctor Strange has a plan.
Yes.
I mean, he's got a plan. But you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, to me, those two moments were probably the most beautiful moments of the movie, on top of the most devastating moments. Like the people dusting, it's just like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I teared up a little bit with Spider-Man because he's a kid. It's hard not to. He's a child.
That devastated my 9-year-old.
Yeah, he's a child and he's Spider-Man. But it's like, but those two moments to me have more weight and are more devastating moments. Like even Loki, was pretty hard to watch. Like I thought they did a good job. I thought they did a good job with that too. And I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm loving it that this is the first thing we're seeing. They're wanting you to
see killed him out of the gate.
They want you to see that Thanos isn't like,
he's not playing.
Jokes.
But ultimately, this is one of those things where I think in looking back on all the movies, especially when FX was going through all the Marvel films, you have to realize that, you know, Loki's been living under this death sentence since the end of the Avengers.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So it's not like, you know, it's easy to think in watching all these movies to, you know, live under the fact like, hey, all's forgiven, because that's the way we humans are and even gods are. But Thanos doesn't play. This is all part of the same.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
for him. Don't fail.
Well, and I do like that. Like I liked that. I like that they brought that up. Like I like that they brought New York up.
Right.
You know, and like Tony's like, yeah, like I've been thinking about this guy for 7 years. Like he's been in my head for 7 years.
Right.
And I know this was happening. Like, and when he kind of gets mad at Peter, he's like, this is a one-way trip. He's like, you didn't think it through because this is a one-way trip. And so again, it's another moment that people aren't talking about, that Tony knowingly was thinking, okay, I'm going up here and I'm dead. Like this is it. I'm going to go up here. I'm going to get this guy out and I'm going to be dead. That's
one of the things for the next movie that needs to really be put into play here that I think they're going to do. I think the two things that I think is going to happen is, one, time is going to pass. This is not going to pick up directly after. I'm thinking they're going to jump ahead another 2 years. 2, I think Pepper was actually pregnant. So by the time Tony eventually makes it back to Earth.
Oh, and they're going to love Tony.
Say what?
You think he'll make it back?
I think he's
because he's with Gamora. It's going to take them time to fix her ship. But he'll eventually make it back. Now, is it going to take 2 years? That would be kind of interesting for him to be introduced to his child and then have to be under the realization, if you want to put the world back, you're going to have to risk this new life that you have.
Right.
You know?
Oh, that would suck.
That'd be bad. The other thing to think, I honestly think that by the end of 4, we're going to see that the death of most of the remaining Avengers. I really think you're going to see.
I think they're all going to die.
Right. Now I think you keep Black Widow because they're already talking about a movie for her. So but
it might be a prequel.
And it may be a prequel. So then you can do that.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
Well, I can go ahead and tell you my theory as to who I think is the Skrull.
Yeah, it does.
At the end of Winter Soldier.
Yep.
When they've gathered at Nick Fury's grave.
Right.
Okay. Soon as Black Widow shows up, Steve goes over to talk to her, and Nick takes off. What is it that Steve has asked of Black Widow? He asked her, "Are you going to go with Fury?" And she says,
"I've got to go find myself."
That's right. She says no.
Because I said, you know, it would be great if you were to do a Black Widow movie right after this, and she's finding herself.
Right. No, that was what originally
they thought. You think it's going to be Black Widow? I'm going to be so
mad.
And
here's the reason why.
And like she's just been dead. Like, and she's just been
dead
the whole
keep
time?
you kind of cocooned.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I think they got to her after that, because the next time you see her, remember, she's done. Her entire life, along with all the information that S.H.I.E.L.D. had, was placed online. Right? So she had no life anymore. So the next time you see her is in Age of Ultron.
Right.
So what's different? She has this, remember, the one person on the team she was afraid of was Hulk. And now she not only is friends with him, she can control him.
Right. And is in a relationship with him. All right. Yeah.
And it's like they kind of just skimmed over that.
Yeah. And
like
then
in this one, like it's just kind of like, hi, hey.
Well, he's been gone for a couple of years.
Right, yeah. Like I feel like she should have had.
But the other thing is, when you look at what happened with Civil War, okay, and this is the even bigger thing.
And to me, this movie is what we should have gotten with Civil War. I don't like Civil War. We've discussed it before.
Yes.
But I mean, this to me is what we should have gotten. But
you could tell she really did agree with Steve. She felt for Steve. Steve's her friend. She stayed with Tony. Why?
See, I feel like she stayed with Tony because
politically it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I thought it was like a political.
She knows how to play the system.
Yeah,
she's a spy. She knows that.
But also, the Avengers had achieved now a position within the world, especially within the United States government.
Right.
They had access to all of this information, of which she's probably, if she were a Skrull, she's taking bits of it. Because really, as a Skrull, you're looking for places to get all of the available information and to figure out where all of the strong and weak points are for the invasion, okay?
Don't do it, Marvel.
So she would have to stay with Tony because that's where all the info and all of the major stuff is. If you go with Steve, there's no guarantee that he's going to win to allow you access to all that information.
Right.
So, but even if she wants to go with Steve, she stays with Tony.
Right.
And straight to the bitter end, she stays with them. Now, of course, the Avengers are on the outs with the United States government. Oh, well, now it's time for me to join up with Steve. Plus, who is the most charismatic person? Who is the #1 person that everybody, even on the team, thinks is the one person who you would need to rally all the heroes?
Steve.
So you stay close to him.
Right.
So when the invasion happens, you know that he's the first one you need to take out.
Mm-hmm.
Because minus him,
Right.
everything falls apart.
Right.
Man, I don't want Chris Evans not to be Captain America. It's gonna happen.
I think he's going to be
dead
dead before.
I think he's gonna be dead in Endgame. But,
Yeah. I
which
think
that's
so.
the title.
Which is kind of.
It's not the title. No, it's
They
not the
said
title.
it was the title.
Who said it was the title?
I just saw a post the other day.
saw
They
some-
just said they released the title. It's Avengers.
I don't know.
No.
In time.
There's no official confirmation on that. So it's just Avengers 4.
I'll look it up.
Yeah.
Because it was a big post
There
about.
was a big
Now-
post about it.
Now we have a title, so don't complain that you have to wait a year.
Well, Kevin Feige and everybody is still acting like they're not going to make that announcement until later.
Right.
Knight says that, talking about Infinity War, it's one big advertisement for Nintendo's Power Glove that is 30 years too late. That's what Knight thinks about
That's pretty
Infinity War.
funny. So
He did like it too. Though.
Yeah.
He liked it.
Anyway,
I love the Power Glove.
I don't think she's the only one.
Right.
I think that in Black Panther, his best friend who turned against him, I
Right.
think he's one.
Oh, interesting.
I think.
Can we not talk about Black Panther? We
She's
haven't
not
watched it
okay.
yet.
But
But I was also told it had nothing,
Yeah.
that it has nothing to do with.
you didn't have to see it to see the movie.
Right,
I
yeah.
think. Right. No.
Yeah.
But it's very well worth seeing. It's
We watched
really,
Ready
really
Player
well
One
done.
instead.
I just think there are a whole host of characters that when you go back and look at all the movies, you could see, and especially if it's someone who could be close to something or someone of power.
Right.
Not necessarily that most powerful person, although, but you have to be close to them. So if you start looking at various characters around the main characters,
You could say that about Sharon Carter.
Yeah.
she could be one.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah, but she's not even in the. She's just.
She wasn't in this one yet.
She's kind of.
My other one is what's her name? Nick Fury's right hand woman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Maria.
Yeah, Maria.
Yeah.
Because of where she's been.
Right.
She
right.
worked in Stark for a while, and now she's back. She's been in places and worked at places where she could easily have access to a lot of information.
Right.
Which means they can catalog everything that Stark is currently involved in.
And working on.
Iron
Man
So-
suit.
And so now that she's back with the new, reinvigorated shield, of course you want somebody in on that.
Right.
So,
Right. No, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And we'll move along a little bit just for time's sake, but I also really like the movie. I do list it up there probably number 4 in my list of movies. But really, really well. I put it behind Winter Soldier and Guardians, and put it behind the first Avengers movie. But just barely. I mean, it's right there. But that's just my views on it. Guardians 2 is right there along with it. And then I have a love for Ant-Man that most people don't for some reason. I think it's the whole having a daughter thing. So I've got a love for that movie. And actually very excited for the next one for Ant-Man and Wasp coming up.
the prequel sequel.
The prequel sequel, exactly. So that was
Well, now,
Avengers.
let's at least say this, since we've all seen Infinity War. Why do you think Ant-Man what do you think his stake in Avengers 4 is going to be?
Well,
I don't know what they're gonna. I don't know. I have no idea what they're gonna do. I don't. Because I mean, obviously, Doctor Strange has a plan.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, I mean, as far as Ant-Man.
That's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
Like I'm guessing whatever he saw.
Well, you got Ant-Man and
Needed.
Hawkeye.
Yeah, like I think you needed them gone. Like whatever. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like like Doctor Strange saw that these core people needed to be gone. So these other people that normally aren't the thinkers or the, you know what I mean, the ones making the deals, because it's like Banner's still there. You mean, so you have these people that normally are more in the back, I feel like, that are bringing to the front, because I feel like whatever their knowledge base is going to be something that they, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
they would be foreshadowed if the others were still there. So it's like
Yeah.
they're needed to make this plan work, because they're going to have to stand on their own 2 feet. And he's super smart. You know what I mean? Like he's super smart. So I feel like he's going to like, I don't know, go really small and like pick a gym. Pick a gym off of it. I don't know.
I kind of cheated a bit because, you know, when they were posting pictures from the set of Avengers 4, some of us got a chance to see some of the settings that they had. I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but let's just say Ant-Man is a part of what they're doing.
Right.
I believe that the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp will coincide with the post-credit scene from Infinity War.
Right.
How?
What do you mean? It's happened across the universe.
I think, can I just say real fast?
Yeah.
That I think it is a very risky decision, banking all of this on a movie that hasn't come out in Captain Marvel, a movie that hasn't come out, a character that we've never seen. Like, so to me, that's why I liked seeing Nick, and I liked seeing them. Like, I got really excited. I don't like necessarily that it's kind of like a tie-in or lead up to bring it in Captain Marvel.
No.
That is risky to me.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, I know. I'm just saying I want to say that. I want to put that out there because I think that's risky.
It is risky.
And I don't think it was a good decision. Again, people don't care what I think. I don't make billions of dollars on my films that I make. So take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But I mean, you're taking, which Brie Larson's awesome. She's a great actress. But you're taking a huge risk because you don't know how people are going to react to this character. It's in the past.
Yeah.
It's not
1991.
Yeah, it's not. I don't know. Like, I think it's a huge risk. And you were saying earlier that they're known for making risks, and the risks usually pay off, but they don't. They don't always pay off. And this concerns me that it feels like it's going to be a huge tie-in to this next movie when we haven't seen her in a real suit. Like, not in the suit that people know her for.
Right.
We haven't seen that. We've seen no trailer for it. There's been nothing released but a couple behind-the-scenes stills.
Right. Well, Captain Marvel
fuzzy.
is supposed to come out January.
February.
So really, we're still about a year away.
Right.
You don't want to put a trailer out until
but that's what I'm saying. Then, so why are you even tying her to this?
Because they wanted you to know this character's coming. They wanted to, for those of us that have been saying, well, where the heck is Captain Marvel? You made a Captain Marvel
that's
movie.
what my brother said. My brother was like, what has her power ass been doing this whole time?
Well,
What has she been doing?
Yeah.
Well, she's been on Kree. That's my assumption. She's on Kree.
And so that pager signal reached out into the universe.
Right.
I highly doubt that.
It was Kree technology.
I highly doubt it.
Well,
I don't think that janky
Jinkies.
80s pager reached out to the universes and got her attention. I don't think she was sitting up in the planets being like, ooh, pager just went off.
I just react to it. I don't make it up. My thing is, I believe that Scott is going to have a powerful motivation to want to participate.
Right.
Which is, I think, when it comes time for everybody disappearing, his daughter's going to disappear.
Oh, see, you made.
I was thinking it'd be Wasp. I thought it would be.
Yeah, it could be Wasp.
I thought it would be Avengers.
But that would really be,
You're exactly right. That would. Plus, I also thought to myself, as you were talking about this, if you're correct that it's going to be years in between, one, they're not going to be able to keep the Accords as they have them because all these people are gone that helped create these Accords, and the heroes are gone. Some of the heroes, so you're going to need to bring in some fresh heroes. So bringing in Ant-Man makes perfect sense. It's like, okay, we need you because the world's in all this chaos because of this. So let's get all the heroes we can.
I think even Wakanda's going to close its borders because they're going to have a new king.
Right.
It'll be M'Baku. He'll close the borders, and I think that
his sister.
Well, no, I think his sister's.
Gabby posted she thinks that she's going to be Black Panther.
Which she was in the comic.
Yeah, which is a smart.
I think M'Baku will be the king. Shuri will be the new Black Panther, and Banner will stay in Wakanda to work in the lab to try to work an angle to undo everything that's been done.
Right.
See, it's like come on, Doctor Strange. Nobody's in your head, man.
Dude.
Nobody knows what your plan is.
Well,
it's
he sees some way to be able for somebody to get the gauntlet to be able to reverse.
And the fact that it was like happen. 14 million, it's just like, that kills me. It's like, over 14 million, how many did we win? 1. Good, let's go with that. So we got a chance. So what you're saying is we have a chance.
We have a chance, exactly.
Positive thinking, guys.
It's the power of positive thinking.
You know, and I love the interplay in the movie.
It's like little giants.
Doctor Strange and Tony Stark
and Star-Lord
and Peter. I love that interaction. That interaction.
I do love that someone finally gets his reference and it's Parker. Like when he's like in Footloose, yes. Is it still like the greatest movie of all time? And he's like, it never was. He's just like, what? Like, bite your tongue.
That old movie,
Aliens.
He's like, no more pop references for you. Like, no more pop culture. You're done. Like, you're done. And see, to me, some of the best stuff was the Guardian stuff, but. I love Chris Pratt. Yeah, I love Chris Pratt. And like when they're talking about how Thor looks like a pirate god or something, like that kills me.
He looks like his father.
He's not a dude.
Yeah.
This is a man.
Yeah.
You are a dude.
Yeah, and he's like, he's like, it's pretty hard for me too, because it's like I just had to kill my dad, and I kept both my eyes.
Pirate angel.
Yeah, and he's like, I kept both my eyes. So they're like, why are you making your voice deeper? I'm not. He's doing it again. This is how I always talk. And to me, it's like some of the best moments in the movie is because of Chris Pratt. Like he's so perfect in that role, and like he interacts so well
with everybody,
with all the other characters. Like he does so good. And like when he's talking about the human thing, he's like, I'm only 50% human, so that's like all of the dumb in you guys.
Yeah, that's like 100% of the dumb in you.
Yeah, like so.
Like that statement made absolutely no sense.
Yeah, but it did, because he's like, I'm only half you guys, so the dumb part of me is all of the dumb of you. Like he's like, so let's get that out there. But like all of that stuff with him was like perfect, and we talked about like how great it was that. It was his humanity.
Right.
It's like it wasn't his alien side.
That prevented them from taking the glove from Thanos. He couldn't control his anger enough.
Well, and isn't it ironic that it's Tony that tried to stop him?
Yeah.
It reminds you of Civil War. Who was that tried to stop Tony? Oh, yeah, Steve.
Well, and it's like, and he's like, I almost got it off. Like, he's like, just chill out for like 1 second. And like,
you can punch him in the face after I get the stupid glove.
It's called priorities.
And you'd think Doctor Strange would have seen that one coming. And he would have been like, hey guys, this is one of the 14 million that I saw, and we really need to probably keep Peter away.
Well, I think he had to let that happen.
Yeah.
And he had to give him the stone, because with fighting it at those levels, if you take the gauntlet, Thanos still can kick your butt, even without that gauntlet.
Yeah.
So, and then he may have done something very worse.
Yeah.
And something that he couldn't come back from. So giving that up and giving up the time stone is part of the plan. What that plan is, I don't have a clue.
And another thing that I had a problem with that I just remembered because we started talking about the Thanos strip thing. The fact that in Ragnarok, Thor's talking to his dad, and he's like, "You're not your hammer. Are you the god of hammers?"
Right.
No, you're the god of thunder. And then we get to see him, come down with the lightning, and he's just like, you know what? I don't need that weapon. And then it kills me because it's like, what is it? They just keep going back and doing the exact same thing. So it's like, what is he doing? I need a weapon. I have to have this weapon. And it's like,
yeah, but you tried the lightning on Thanos.
But here's the thing.
No, you don't. It's like but that's what I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They do these type of things, and it feels like it negates what you just watched, because it does. It's like the whole point of Ragnarok was to say you have not been using your god powers to the potential that you should be using them.
But to have Stormbreaker, that just means, Stormbreaker coming into the story means that there's an additional character now, like Captain Marvel, that's on the way.
Right, and that's fine. I'm just saying.
Beta Ray Bill.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is it just negates what you watched in Ragnarok, though.
See, I didn't think it did.
Because to me, it makes it feel like you didn't learn anything.
Well, but you took it to a different level.
And on top of that, with his powers, being just a god of thunder does not give you the ability to summon the Bifrost, which is what the Stormbringer is able to do.
Right, and that's fine. I'm just saying, I don't like that. I don't like that he saved all these people. That's something Knight brought up. It's like, I don't like it that he was told, you're not the god of hammers, you're the god of thunder. Stop trying to use a weapon as what makes you you. That doesn't make you Thor.
Yes.
Your weapon doesn't make you Thor. And then he saves these people, and then it jumps to all of them are slaughtered, and it's now I need a weapon again because the weapon is the only thing that's going to help me.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, it feels like it negates the whole purpose of watching.
I can see how you would reach that.
You know what I mean? It's like, I get it. I get it that this weapon means other things.
Yes.
And means more to come. But I'm just saying, from just watching the films, it feels like you shouldn't even have done Thor Ragnarok then. It felt like it was not needed, because it's like, what does it happen? It gets his eyeball back too. You know what I mean? And so it's like, it feels like everything is just.
He gets a mechanical eye. It's not so much his.
I know it's not his exact eyeball, but he looked cool with the patch. I think they should have. I think they should have kept the patch, and because it's like he felt more like his father, like that you can see. The cracks in the gods, you know what I mean? With the Asgardians, you can kind of see cracks.
But that's, I think, the other thing about him having Stormbreaker, because that puts him closer to being like his dad. His dad had a staff, very powerful staff. Yeah. He probably didn't need it, but.
I just feel like Thor never learns. I feel like it's a character that has never grown because they keep doing the exact same thing with him.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating because I feel like they could do a lot more with him than what they're doing. And they're not. I feel like they just keep relapsing for his
character kind of does that in the comics quite a bit too. So.
But in a film, in a film franchise, you shouldn't do it because it becomes stale. The character becomes stale doing it that way.
So moving along a little bit from Infinity War. Just to kind of mention Black Panther, we talked about, ended up closing its time out in theaters, making $691 million domestically and $1.34 billion globally.
So much money.
Yeah, that's a crazy amount for a movie that's not even supposed to be the big movie of the year. That's amazing. This is the processor to Infinity War. That just blows your mind how much money they make. That Marvel is bringing in this kind of loot, just printing money.
Well, the MCU is. And so with this, along with the information about, now about Infinity War, this now brings the MCU and Marvel Studios to about $17 billion in 10 years, when compared to, say, Fox, 18 years and 5.5 billion. That pretty much is all you really need to know right there, which is the reason why Fox is getting rid of all its movie and TV and basically selling that stuff off to Disney. Because if they could do it better, they would. If they could make more money, they would. They can't. So they got to let it all go.
Well, and talking about Fox,
Yes.
we've got some news on a couple of their movies being pushed back for reshoots, supposedly reshoots.
Readjustments.
Readjustments.
One has to be reshot because the studio heads, the executives, finally figured out that the director knew what he was talking about when he basically pitched the movie New Mutants as a horror-based movie, and they watered it down to make it kind of like a PG-13 teen film. And so now they're having to go back and reshoot almost the entire film and add one more character that was not originally part of the film.
Who are they
that
adding?
they just shot. Now, I don't know who the character is, okay? But that's part of what they're doing. But they can't even begin that because one of their main actresses happens to be working on the final season of Game of Thrones, which ironically
Arya Stark
is just like the position that X-Men Dark Phoenix finds itself in. But with that, it's different. They're having to change the entire third act of the movie because this was originally meant to be 2 movies. Well, the Disney deal goes through, they can't do that.
Right.
So what they did is they rewrote the final act so that they can end.
Both of these movies are going to fail miserably.
No, not really.
More than
fail.
likely.
Not fail.
That stinks because she looks like the perfect Jean. I mean, she does.
It's
that
like,
Sophia girl.
Yeah. Sophie Turner.
She looks like the perfect Jean Grey.
It's like I keep telling everybody,
Jean.
Disney does not want to take on any contracts. So outside of Ryan Reynolds, who the head of Disney said that as far as he's concerned, he is Deadpool. That is the ringing endorsement, meaning that Ryan Reynolds is the only person that will make the jump from Fox to Disney and will continue to do what he does. Everything else is going to change, mainly because Kevin Feige, who used to work at Fox on the X-Men films, was not a very big fan of the direction that they took.
Right.
Being a comic book fan and having to work on those movies that basically didn't follow the comics too much. So what Kevin Feige has often said, he cannot wait to get his hands on these characters, which means everybody that got hired for those movies is gone. Like I said, in the last time we talked about this on the show, I said everybody's getting pink slips.
Yep.
Everybody's getting pink slips.
It does stink though because, I mean, some of the new actors for the last X-Men movie, even that movie is awful. But the new actors that got, I mean.
You know what though?
If Kevin Feige gives me a 90s version, cartoon style of the X-Men movie with all of those characters together, I don't care what they do after that. But it's like, until you give me an X-Men movie where they are actually the X-Men and they're actually in their outfits and all of those people are there, I am not going to say it's an X-Men movie. I'm tired of it. I'm tired.
Well,
I like most of the X-Men movies, but I'm tired of it. I'm tired of them not calling themselves the X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of them not being the group. It doesn't have to always be this giant end of the world scenario.
Yes.
You don't have to do that. You can just fight the Sentinels.
Right.
I mean, you don't have to do that. You don't have to. It doesn't always have to be the end of the world.
Right.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be that because you can't top yourself every single time when you do it that way. It doesn't have to be that.
Yeah, and you can't hey, Magneto, he's the good guy. He's our friend. Oh, he stabbed us in the back. Can't keep replaying that same scenario.
You know,
Mike keeps talking, by the way.
Oh.
He said, #release the Kevin Feige cut. and then he says,
nicely done, Knight.
He says it's Deadpool, and then he says they are putting Deadpool in it. In X-Men, I think they're gonna.
I think if you make an X-Force movie, then you can.
Well,
we'll all see what happens with Deadpool, this new Deadpool movie.
No, I agree. Well, look, one of the actors though for X-Men he's got a great career in front of him. Ty Sheridan was somebody I had never heard of before. And now because of Ready Player One, he is a big star. A lot of people saw this kid in X-Men Apocalypse. I did not think he was that bad as Cyclops, but he still wasn't Cyclops to me.
Right,
in the comics.
But that's
So-
just because they didn't write him that way.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate.
Right.
So now he can go off and make movies and ask for more money because, especially after this final season of Game of Thrones, all those people that are known for doing other things are going to ask for more money. There's no way Disney's going to want to give these people more money. It's easier to just recast all the parts and bring them in cheaper and start all over again, only this time making the characters more like they are in the comics.
Right. So, and when Brittney says 90s cartoon, if you're not familiar, you need to go watch that.
It's seriously the best. It's the best representation of any X-Men ever.
Well, I would say that series does a great job of being the Chris Claremont, John Byrne X-Men of the 80s.
Yes.
So that's what that series did great, was it took what was based in the comics and made it into a cartoon version of it, but still took the heart of what was there and told the stories. Yes. Right. Being
Rogue and Gambit.
Exactly.
And let's face it, we have not gotten a Rogue. We have not gotten a real Gambit.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't even really gotten a real Jean Grey, in my opinion.
No.
I like that Jensen lady. She's great. She's a great actor. But we still haven't gotten a real Jean Grey. We haven't gotten a real Gambit. We haven't gotten a real Rogue.
We haven't gotten a real Cyclops.
We haven't gotten a real Cyclops. We haven't gotten a real Beast. Like, we haven't gotten, literally the only one we've gotten that's real has been a Professor X and Wolverine.
right. And Magneto. Magneto's been well done. You're missing the big one for me, Miss Kitty Pryde.
See, and I'm not a huge Kitty Pryde fan.
Oh, I love my Kitty Pryde, but
I want Rogue in a green and yellow suit
I
with a brown bomber jacket, a headband. I want the white stripe. I want the big curly hair. I want her to fly. I want her to be super strong. I want her to have a real thick accent. And I want her to be dating a Cajun named Remy. That's what I want. I want that to happen. And I want it to happen now.
I think Kevin Feige agrees with you.
I feel like I'm gonna be dead before it happens. Like that's what the ironic thing's gonna be. I'm gonna pass away, and a year later they're gonna make this movie, and everyone's like, "Oh man, Brittney would have really liked this '90s version of the X-Men movie." Like, I feel like that's what's gonna happen.
See, what I want to see is I actually would love to see an established X-Men group already there, and then you have Kitty Pryde join it. Do that storyline where you have the new blood coming in, and you don't have to tell the origins. You don't need to deal with any of that. These are the characters that are there that are established. Let's go with it, and then we're going to introduce somebody new to kind of.
Yeah.
I would love that, but I love my first X-Men comic was Welcome Kitty Pryde, right? It was, I think, issue number 134, if I'm right, and I have Chris Claremont's signature on that, by the way, which makes me very happy. So saying all that.
Jubilee, it's like Jubilee has been in like 30 X-Men movies. She's been in 30 X-Men movies, and she's like cut out of all.
Right.
Like, I don't know if did you watch the cutscenes of
Yeah.
X2?
Yeah.
Because their powers look good. It's like, why did you cut this?
I was never a big Jubilee fan.
Why did you cut this?
But
What was the point? What was it? Why did you even have her in it? Same thing with the new one. It's like, we're gonna put Jubilee in it. We're gonna cut the big scene. Go ahead.
It's for stuff like that.
So if you get a role, if you're an actress out there and they've casted you as like the new Jubilee, just be prepared to be cut from the movie. Just take your paycheck and just know you're gonna be cut.
not with the new Disney overlords, I hear.
I don't know. It may happen.
I think Kevin
feel like that character's cursed.
Yeah, I think Kevin Feige feels the exact same way you do. And that's part of the reason why he had to leave. Well, that plus they gave him a really big pay raise. And,
Yeah. Come and run Marvel for us.
Yeah.
I wish somebody was just like, hey, come and run DC for us.
Yeah.
It's not gonna happen.
You know what? I'd vote for it.
It
So.
would be phenomenal.
So, all right. So I'm also wondering, are these reshoots actually going to happen, or are they just going to dissipate these movies?
No, these films still have to come out
They have to come out because
the
of
money's
contracts.
already been borrowed. Whenever you make movies, the studios basically borrow money
Right,
straight from the banks.
Right.
So unless you have that money cash on hand to pay back, these movies have to come out in order to make back what was already been spent.
But I think the mouse can afford it here 2 movies already this year making
But
over
it's
$1
not
billion.
them, like it would have to be like
Well,
Fox,
but if they
right?
buy the
would
Fox
have to
rights, couldn't they say, oh, we'll pay you back, we're not gonna put these out because we're gonna do our own thing?
Fox is getting out of the movie business, mainly. They're getting out of the movie and TV entertainment business.
Right.
So, yeah, they could do it, but Disney, the mouse, doesn't like cutting checks.
No, I get that. I
Is
just
Disney
thought
gonna
that
own
really-
Buffy then?
Yes,
Oh, God.
Buffy's a Disney princess.
and guess what? Alien, Predator, anything in the Fox
I
film and
swear.
television library.
I swear, if that mouse ruins this show,
Oh, no.
if that mouse ruins this
He
show,
won't.
Joss Whedon, if he reconnects with Disney, think of it this way. Now you've got both Joss and Buffy in the same place.
And
I don't think that's necessarily a good thing. I don't think that's a good thing. I love Buffy. Buffy is a huge part of my life,
Mm-hmm.
obviously. I'm wearing a Buffy shirt. Shout out to Knight, he got me this from tvillain.com.
hey, nice.
It's awesome. It's got Master on it, and it's great. But I'm just saying, Sarah Michelle Gellar said it best. People think they want Buffy back, and they don't. She's like, you don't want to see me anymore being Buffy, but people don't want a remake. I don't want Buffy being played by
Could
another
you
actress.
continue in the future?
Well, I think the Buffy remake would have worked if, like Sarah and everybody else in the cast had said, if Joss was a part of it.
Right.
But that's the thing. She's brought up multiple times
Yeah.
that at this point in these actors'
No,
life,
right.
you don't want them coming back to
Mhm.
because it's gonna tarnish your memory of what these characters
Right.
were and who they were. And
Yeah.
it's been going on in the comics. Like they've been doing it in the comics.
Yeah.
But it's like what's gonna happen is they're not gonna bring these actors back.
No.
They're going to remake it. And to me, the only reason why the show worked and the movie didn't is because they remade a movie that was a failure. They didn't remake a movie that was this huge success.
I love the movie.
I do too. It's one of my favorite movies.
I laughed so hard.
I'm
love
for the record, I'm not a fan of the film because I'm not a fan of the couple that took advantage of Joss and
Yeah,
and
that
did
was
all that
horrible.
stuff.
That was
Sure.
horrible. But I'm just saying, but I also really liked the movie. But I'm saying there's a difference of taking something that was a failure and turning it into a success because he did it the way he wanted to do it,
Right.
the way he wasn't allowed to do it in the movie, and he saw what didn't work and what did work, and he made it better. Whereas what's going to happen is if it gets made now, you're going to be remaking a successful thing. So to me, that makes no sense. Why remake? And they do it all the time, but I just don't get it.
Yeah, right.
Don't do original stories. If you want to do something in the Buffy world, you can do something in the
Right.
Buffy world.
Yeah.
You don't have to remake Buffy the Vampire
No,
Slayer.
right. I agree.
You could do something called Slayers. And because it's like, if you've watched the show, and spoilers, I guess, it's been since 2003. You should have watched it at this point. But I mean, they do a spell, and everyone that could potentially be a Slayer is a Slayer. So
Right.
you could do a show
Right.
in that world and not ruin my life
You could
by
do
remaking it.
20 years later, and Buffy's retired from this because she's not needed to.
Yeah,
And
you
then
could have her
have
come
other
in
people coming in.
Yeah, and you could have her come in
She could be
if Sarah would do it, you could have her come in as like a mentoring
Right,
watcher
right,
type
right.
figure. And it's like, and that would be fine. But it's like,
No, right.
what I fear is going to happen is they're going to remake it.
No, yeah.
And it's going to be a new Buffy.
I don't
And
think
I'll
Fox would do
scream.
that. I think they would be more likely.
Well, it's not gonna be up to Fox,
I mean, Disney. That's what I meant. I don't think Fox would probably try that. Disney, I don't think will do that. I think they would take what people will love about it and then try to expand on it like they have with Star Wars. Even though I know you're not a big fan.
I don't think Disney can go as dark as Buffy needs to go.
I don't know. It was on the WB back in the day.
It was on the WB back in the day when the WB
And
got
UPN.
away with a ton of stuff. If you stagger, I can show you, I'll send you some links. There's some Buffy episodes that to this day, I do not see how they were on TV. To this day. And Sarah Michelle Gellar has also said that going back, there's stuff that they got away with that
Yeah.
she said, I don't even know how we got this past censors. Like, I don't know how it got past
Because
people.
I've
and
gone
put
back
up
and
front,
rewatched it a
because
couple of years ago, so I think
CW is not, CW is way G rated
right
compared to what like you were seeing with Buffy and Angel.
That would be interesting. So, but I don't know. We'll see what happens with it.
Just don't do it, Disney. Just don't do it.
But moving along, because
Yes.
we need to jump way quick here.
Yes.
Just DC movies upcoming: Aquaman, Shazam, Wonder Woman 2.
Well, here-
Aquaman is this year.
Well, the big news that just broke is they just wrapped on Shazam.
Mhm.
Okay, now they haven't done any reshoots yet, but they have wrapped on Shazam, which means given what has now been, excuse me, given what has now been revealed about what Kevin Feige has revealed about Marvel Studios plans for San Diego this year, that means that Warner Brothers, mainly DC, is going to have a free-for-all when it comes to this year's San Diego Comic-Con. Now remember, last year, all those people who were lucky enough to go got a chance to see all kinds of stuff related to Aquaman, which is the reason why a lot of the stuff that people have been saying about how bad it is or whatever, there was nothing for these people to see because it didn't match what had been shown at San Diego, a lot of the drawings and everything else. Now, from what has been learned at CinemaCon, those people who attended CinemaCon, what they've had to say about Aquaman has been spectacular.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked about it.
So,
I like that it's gonna have like a horror vibe.
yeah, it's going to be a horror, but it's kind of a Raiders of Lost Ark adventure vibe is really what they're saying. And so it's going to mix horror and other things with it, but it's more like Raiders of the Lost Ark meets Game of Thrones type thing, with the less icky parts of Game of Thrones in there. But but we're going to see more of that come July when San Diego Comic-Con rolls around, which also means we're going to get a good look, first look at, I hope, the cast of Shazam, and then also.
I hope Comic-Con they bust out that Henry Cavill is gonna be in Shazam. That's what I'm hoping.
That's the worst kept secret for that movie.
That's what I'm hoping.
And Wonder Woman 2.
I hope that's gonna happen.
By the time San Diego rolls around, they should be close to ending the shooting on Wonder Woman 2. But that, I think what they're going to do is probably just film something from the set and say hello to those particular fans that are lucky enough to get into Hall H
Right.
for Wonder Woman 2. And then I think Warner Brothers, or I should say, I think DC is also going to take over as far as unveiling all the stuff they have for television. Let's just get right to it, okay? If you are a fan of 80s X-Men, then you really were also big on the new Teen Titans comic of that same period, okay? So the television series Titans, that show is stacked. And the fact that they just announced that they're adding Donna Troy to the show,
Saw that.
Wonder Girl, the real Wonder Girl, is amazing. So this is a show that is just, I mean, I just can't believe it. I cannot believe how much I'm really looking forward to this.
Well, and it's going to be on a DC Access channel, so it's going to be something you have to pay an additional charge for.
Which is bumming me out. It's
So
just
you have the
bumming me
Titans
out.
there, and you have what's the other show that's going?
The
Swamp Thing. The Swamp Thing is going to go there.
And also the Return of Young Justice.
Oh, so all those rumors of going to Netflix are being denied. Okay, I don't want to pay extra money. I don't pay it for Star Trek. I really don't want to pay it. And my other problem is I've seen the costumes for Titans, and I'm like, I've seen better cosplay costumes.
I think Robin looks really good.
Hawk and Dove look.
Hawk and
Dove and Robin look like
really
the
good.
Right. Okay, I'll give you that, but
The other ones I didn't
Starfire?
impressed with at all.
I'm not digging. Now, can they change it, make special effects, make things look better? Yes, and I'm hoping that they will, and I'm hoping I have to say to myself, I'm going to have to just bite the bullet and pay for a month of this and watch this series and end it, like what I'm about to do for YouTube to watch the Karate Kid show, the Cobra Kai, because that's phenomenal. I've seen
everyone's saying that's great.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes are free and they're phenomenal. But beside the point, so I just don't want to pay it. I'm tired of paying. I don't mind paying to Netflix. I don't mind paying to Hulu.
But it's like Disney's going to be doing their own.
And now I'll probably stop paying Hulu and pay Disney. Because they're going to offer with all the stuff that they're going to be able to put on from Fox and from Disney and everything else. I'm like,
and all the stuff they're removing. Remember, 2019 is when they're launching this, which means between now and 2019, aside from the co-productions that they have done with Netflix, all Disney content will be removed from Netflix between now and next year.
Right. So I will pay that, and I will continue to pay Netflix, but I can't continue to pay for everything. I can't pay for CBS All Access and feel like I'm doing something. I can't pay for, so you're going to have to prove to me this is really good and it's worth my investment of money and time.
They also want you to buy the comics still.
They
also want you to go to the movies and watch the movies still. It's like, come on, man, you gotta give us a break somewhere. Like you gotta give us. You guys are making billions. We are not.
Like
so you gotta give us a break somewhere.
If you have the cash cow, there really is one. I mean, but still. So, so what do you guys want to see with Henry Cavill on Shazam? Because I'm looking into going. I don't know. I want Superman and Shazam interacting right away. Let me see Shazam's story before you bring in.
Now, if he did like
if you had a credit scene or something?
I don't think it's going to be like what anybody's thinking. I think from the way that it has been described.
I wonder if Clark Kent's going to do a story on Shazam, and it's not even going to be Superman.
He's just going to do a story.
Billy Batson is a fan, like any kid, of Superman. So when he gains this power, a lot of what Shazam is going to be trying to base himself on the ideas of what Superman actually is.
Or if it's like a picture, he's just going to have like a picture of Superman.
No, he's actually dressed out in the film. I think what's going to happen is you're going to have kind of like a flyby scene or something. Might be with Superman and Billy Batson checking out Superman, but I think that'll be it.
Then I can deal with. I don't want to see full-on interaction.
I think Henry Cavill just really likes being Superman. Like he wants another Superman movie so bad.
We need
not for
Man of
his
Steel
sake, but because he loves being Superman.
Yeah.
Like he likes being in the suit. He likes putting in the work to get his body to like be like that because he feels it's dishonest to use CGI. Like he wants to be Superman.
Yeah. All I know is if you make Superman closer to what he was in Justice League, I'm cool with all that. I didn't like the Superman from Man of Steel.
But again, did you not hear anything that Zack Snyder said that it was supposed to be a 5-chapter thing, and he did like all of that stuff was done to get to the Superman that people know and love because he's not Superman yet. Like even though he's got the suit and the emblem, he's not Superman yet. He has to go through this to get to it.
You know, for all those people that love to talk up, you know, how Christopher Nolan's movies were that good, the same people that put those scripts together.
But they're not.
Yeah.
But they're not.
But wrote Man of Steel. And so Zach had nothing to do with the writing of that script. He was shut out of that. That's one of those common courtesy things.
That's why it was going to be a 5.
Yeah, that's the reason why he needed to make Man of Steel 2.
All I know is I don't like the emo Superman show, and that's just my opinion.
But that character is gone.
I don't know. All I know is he whined and he was dark and
I don't think
Superman to be super.
I don't think he whined.
I thought he whined a lot.
Well, again,
I think he was trying to figure out what he needed to do and how he needed to do it because he wasn't Superman in the comics. They don't he's just kind of Superman already. That's what they're doing because that's what all these superhero films feel like they have to do is give you an origin story to everyone.
Yeah.
And you don't need one. But I feel like they were trying to show you what would happen because of the Christopher Nolan stuff is what if it was more grounded and what would happen, what would you do as a person if you had to have this weight of the world on your shoulders because everyone sees you as a god.
Yeah.
And like, that's why, to me.
Warner Brothers wanted they wanted a Batman, they wanted a Dark Knight version of Superman.
Right.
As far as the telling of the story. They wanted it grounded in a reality. People don't want Superman to be reality. They want him to be the idea. They want him to be the fantasy.
But they did that.
And they did that.
And everybody complained because it was too lighthearted.
Yeah,
and it was
they
too
did.
bright.
Superman Returns?
Yeah.
Oh, I loved the way Superman done Superman Returns. I
But that's
hate
the
the
thing.
second half of that movie
See,
where
but
he
that's-
somehow lives in an island of kryptonite.
See,
Hate
but that's
that.
the thing, is everybody bashed
Yeah,
the
very-
crap out of it.
Well, and I did. I actually said I really enjoyed it. So.
Yeah.
I did too,
So-
but that's what I'm saying.
so
Like,
I could-
the overall group of people that decide things
Oh,
bash
I
the
agree.
crap out of it. So then they change it, and then it's, well, this is what we want. And it's
Right,
like,
right.
you can't do that because they've already done it.
Well, we're running quickly out of time, guys. So let's go quickly through this. We've got several movies coming up quickly. Just tell me what your impressions are. Deadpool 2. Yeah. It looks funny. I mean,
I think it kind of looks like a mess, but
it may be, but it's okay for
it's
Deadpool.
kind of all, it's kind of, the previews are all over the place. I'm excited, but they're
Yeah.
all over the place.
And it's very humorous, and a lot of the one guy that comes in that has no powers. I
Right.
really like that. So, Star Wars story.
Should be very good.
I'm looking forward to it. Actually, I know Brittney is not, but that's
2
okay.
thumbs down.
Well, and I don't know. And I know there's a lot of people that don't like the way the new movies have happened, but
I'll rent it.
I love them. So I'm
I'll
okay
rent
with
it.
it. Incredibles 2.
I'm excited about that one.
Beyond excited for this movie.
This is the movie that gets me the most excited for all the ones this year. I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you. The original one I took my daughter to see when she was, I don't know, 2. And it was the first movie in the movie theater. And I just love this movie. To me, it was like a perfect superhero movie. It's what the Fantastic Four should have been.
Yes.
And so,
Yeah.
And will be under Disney.
Samuel L. Jackson's my favorite character.
oh, I know. Where's my super soup?
Yeah.
So I'm looking
He's
forward
my
to that.
favorite character in
So
that movie. He's so great in it.
Ant-Man and Wasp.
Of course, I'm looking forward to it. Just so we can have this amazing return and be with all these amazing characters and have another really cool adventure. Look, for me, the first Ant-Man film was just a joy to watch.
Yeah.
And to watch an entire cast that everybody was having fun.
Right.
And it's just a fun movie.
It is.
So I can't wait to see the next one.
Well, and as a father,
Yeah.
I think you appreciate the interaction with a father and daughter at 2 different levels.
Yes.
And kind of how those relationships kind of can respond differently. And just the previews of this one where he's talking to his daughter, I'm just like, oh, I can't wait, because I love that interaction. So I'm very excited for it. And I love how the Wasp comes in and kind of like, this is how you really are supposed to do this.
Yeah.
What have you been doing this whole time? I love that, so I'm excited. Captain Marvel.
Knight said Ben Affleck was supposed to be Tony Stark.
Oh.
I did watch a movie, it's like Hollywoodland,
Mhm.
and Ben Affleck plays Superman.
Yeah,
So
George.
he has played Superman, Batman, and Daredevil. So I mean, I feel like that's kind of impressive.
There you go.
But that's just me. It's impressive.
The Captain Marvel movie, which we really don't have a good sense on yet.
I
Look,
think
I trust.
it's hard.
Yeah, I trust Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
So I'm down with this movie. Anything he wants to put out there, I'm gonna go with it. As long as he's still with Marvel Studios. There's a chance he could leave. There's a chance Robert Iger and Alan Horn could leave. If those 3 leave, then really everything that has come to pass with the MCU and with Disney up to this point, all that's gonna change. And it's not gonna be good, kids. So.
All right, the Swamp Thing television show. I know we talked a little bit about it being on
James Wan. Oh my
Yeah, I'm
goodness.
excited about it. I think I'm hoping that it's not all CG. I'm hoping that there's going to be a lot of practical effects.
So they're going to bring out the
Like
rubber
in a
suit from the
month.
80s?
Well, no.
No.
But I mean, like, I'm hoping they don't just do a giant CG Swamp Thing. Like, I think it's a TV show. It's, you know what I mean? It's like lower To me, it would be neat if they did some really interesting, neat practical effects and gave us something fresh and new versus just a bunch of CG stuff that anybody could do.
My big thing is, this is going to sound bad, but I mean this in the best possible way. It needs to be separated and as different from all the CWDC stuff as possible.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Okay, look, Greg Berlanti has done a phenomenal job. Yeah, I think a lot of people have.
Yeah.
Look, Greg, I don't think anything's ever going to be right until you start actively participating in all these shows again. So for the most part, just to let you know, I've pretty much given up on every single one of those shows. Now, I'm still watching Gotham.
Yeah.
I think iZombie's great.
I love iZombie.
I think Preacher is great, even though they're coming to an end on that series. I think Krypton is probably the best, and oh, wait a minute, that's a show done by the producers of Constantine. So I think it's all good as long as we're not trying to run all the DC shows through Greg Berlanti, unless Greg Berlanti is actively going to be a part of that show.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that like iZombie is like one of their best shows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love iZombie. It's so well done.
It is well done.
It's so fun. That show is so fun.
And I agree with you. The only thing I have not given up on, and I've decided I'm going to wait till it goes to Netflix, is to finish watching it, is Legends of Tomorrow. I know it's crazy and everything else, but at least it's fun. And so
we have
have
Supergirl and Flash. We have so many episodes on our DVR right now, and I cannot bring myself to watch them. I'm just so bummed at the storytelling at this point. And they're all getting like renewed, and I don't get it.
I watched the big crossover, and I thought, you know what? I think I'm kind of done.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of people are.
It's
about bringing in different interpretations. Look, Berlanti's great, but I think he had like one or two really, really good ideas. And all this stuff would have worked if he had stayed working with all these shows and not trying to launch 700 others on different networks at the same time. I think we needed to have him back guiding all of these shows. So the fact that other producers and other creators have been allowed to come in and play with some of these characters that DC has, that's the reason why a lot of these are successful, especially Gotham.
Stop being so stingy. Some of us just like want one really good show.
Yeah, you know. I think if they were to cancel all the shows but The Flash, I'd be good with that.
Yeah, I can do that. Well, as long as you focused and actually did some good work on the
Just bring those other ones in. Actors are going to have to hold their breath a long time in Aquaman. That's practical effects. Yeah,
that is practical.
Maybe they should.
Yeah.
Maybe they should.
Moon Knight has been announced to be an MCU character. You guys know much about Moon Knight?
I don't.
Moon Knight's kind of like Batman, but insane.
Yes.
And also has some attachments to Egyptian gods. So there's he's a funky, weird character that does where Batman kind of doesn't want to kill, except for sometimes. Moon Knight doesn't really have any problems with killing people and just doing. So he's got like a combination of Batman and the Punisher, but crazy. So it's an interesting character. It's not been announced where he's going to show up at. I wouldn't anticipate his own movie at this point, and I would not anticipate his own show without being introduced on like Daredevil or something like that. But I found it fascinating that they're bringing him in. So
Jessica Jones season 2 was really good.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I love David Tennant in that. So
yeah, she's just so good, and I used to not like her. I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan.
Hello.
I wasn't a fan of that actress.
Right. Yeah. Come get.
She's so amazing.
Yeah.
She's so good.
Yeah. Soon. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, she's so amazing. And it's like spoilers, I guess, but like, oh my God, that end shot, like with the blood splashes on her face, and like where she just jumps over the railing and she's almost like decks her sister essentially.
Yeah.
And then like when she comes back and she's like, all I see is like the person that killed my mom.
Right.
And just that little gag at the end where she catches the ball with her foot, and you're just like, I'm just like, let's do this. Let's do this season 3. Let's do it right now.
I'm with you.
Do it right now.
That was great. Have you also seen, because Netflix has some other series that are pretty popular and hot right now, Lost in Space? Have you guys seen that yet?
Lost in Space is an excellent adaptation.
Yeah.
Is it the best thing on TV? I have to finish the rest of the season.
Right.
But I do like what they've done with this.
I do too.
Very nice update.
Have you seen it?
No, we don't have Netflix right
Okay,
now.
all right.
We had to get rid of Netflix.
Well,
We're
then-
gonna get it back, hopefully.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. Right now?
Have you guys seen Series of Unfortunate Events? I know you probably haven't seen it on Netflix.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I've heard nothing but good.
Oh my
things about
gosh.
the show.
My son and I were watching that together and we finished season 2. Phenomenal, great adaptations of the books. And it just makes you smile because the actors in there are enjoying what they're doing. Count Olaf, who is
Neil Patrick Harris.
Neil Patrick Harris, thank you, because I was thinking Richard Dean Anderson, like, that's the wrong one.
I know about the show. I just
So
haven't
Neil
seen
Patrick Harris is wonderful in that series. It's just great. I suggest it for everybody. It's appropriate for all ages.
He
and
said
it's great.
sure. Okay. To get Netflix. He said sure.
And Altered Carbon.
I have seen
Very
that
good.
because we watched
Oh.
that before we
Uh-huh.
didn't have Netflix. I love that show so much that I started watching
Yeah.
it again
Yeah,
because it's phenomenal.
and not for kids. That one is not shy.
Oh, yeah.
No.
But if you have a sensitivity
It's a hard
to
R, but it
Yeah.
is so good.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
That
is.
show does women, strong female characters correctly.
Mhm.
That show is phenomenal.
Oh, I agree.
It's good, strong Canadian science fiction.
It is.
It's awesome. And Joel Kinnaman, who is in
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, is so impressive in that show.
Ah.
He blows my mind in
Yeah.
that show. He's so good.
All right, just some last items here. Convention news, real quick. Last weekend was OzCon. I know you did not get to attend. I got to attend for a day. It was a phenomenal little convention. It was small, but it was a lot of fun. The people that worked there really kind of made you feel at home. You saw the people that were working the convention that would go sit at people's tables as they were doing panels and stuff and making sure that sell stuff for people. It was a great little convention. Had a lot of fun there. In news, next year's Planet Comic-Con, which will be March 29th through 31st, is on the same date as Chicago's C2E2 and San Francisco's WonderCon.
That's not a good idea.
No, that's going to suck because
That's a horrible
all the
idea.
people, Planet Comic-Con's big enough, it should be getting a lot of the big time, not just actors, but they should be getting a lot of the creators coming there. Marvel and DC should have booths there. It's the biggest Midwest convention, yet it's going to take second place to these two conventions, so it's unfortunate. LibraryCon is Saturday, August 18th, for those that don't know. Put that on your calendar. We will be here for that. And CaveCon from the Comic Cave is September 29th and 30th, and we'll be covering that also this year. So
I
those
may
are
not be
conventions coming up.
Or the Web Fest is also that time frame.
Yes.
So the Web Fest, when's the Web Fest? Is the same
September,
weekend?
yeah, same
same
weekend.
weekend. So that's coming up also. So
Knight said
that's,
that they should make a Netflix Punisher show.
agreed. I think they're planning on it.
He doesn't like the Punisher show they made.
Oh, okay. You didn't like,
No,
oh,
he doesn't like
okay.
it.
He didn't like the,
Yeah, they kinda
we'll talk about it tonight because I'm interested in what you have to say. All right, guys, that's really all the time we have. I'm Larry from geekcool.com.
I'm Brittney from American Wasteland.
And I'm Keith, representing the geek in all of us. Thank you for joining us for Titans of the Fantastic. See ya.